The message arrived on a Tuesday morning. Every screen on Earth suddenly flickered and went dark. Then a face appeared. It was not human. The creature had purple skin and 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern on its face. Its mouth was too wide, and when it spoke, rows of needle-sharp teeth were visible. The voice was translated into every language on Earth at the same time. Greetings, primitive species of the third planet. I am Ambassador Zexhai of the Valorian Empire, speaking for the Galactic Council. Your species has committed several violations of galactic law. Dr. Sarah Chen was drinking coffee in her office at the United Nations building when the transmission began. She nearly choked on her drink when she saw the alien face. Around the world, billions of people stopped what they were doing to watch. Your crimes are as follows. The alien continued, reading from what looked like a floating tablet. First, unauthorized faster-than-light travel. Second, colonization of systems without proper permits. Third, dangerous unpredictability that threatens galactic peace. Sarah put down her coffee cup and leaned forward. She had been Earth's top military strategist for 15 years. She had planned for many scenarios, but first contact with aliens demanding surrender was not one of them. The Galactic Council has decided to offer your species protection under our guidance. You have 30 standard galactic days to surrender all military assets and submit to Council authority. Failure to comply will result in corrective action. The alien's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. This message will repeat in your primitive languages for the next solar day. Consider carefully. The Council is merciful but not patient. The screen went black. Then the message started again in English. Sarah could hear it playing in different languages from other offices down the hall. Within minutes, her phone was ringing. President Martinez was on the line. Sarah, please tell me you saw that too and I'm not having a breakdown. I saw it, Mr. President. We all did. What do we do? Sarah was quiet for a moment. She was thinking about the alien's words. Unauthorized travel, unpredictability, protection. The tone reminded her of a school principal talking to troublesome children. Can you get the other world leaders on a video call in 2 hours? She asked, already working on it. Every leader on Earth is trying to reach everyone else right now. 2 hours later, Sarah was looking at screens showing presidents, prime ministers, and rulers from around the world. Everyone looked shocked except for Prime Minister Petrov of Russia, who was trying not to smile. Friends, President Martinez began, we have received what appears to be an ultimatum from an alien government. Dr. Chen, would you please share your analysis? Sarah stood up. The message tells us several important things. First, we are not alone in the universe. Second, there is a government that controls multiple worlds. Third, they think we are primitive and dangerous. Dangerous how? Asked the British Prime Minister. They mentioned unpredictability. In military terms, that usually means someone who doesn't follow expected patterns. Someone who might do something surprising. Chancellor Meller from Germany raised her hand. Dr. Chen, what exactly have we done to break their laws? We built faster-than-light ships and used them. We established colonies on other worlds. Apparently, we needed permission we never asked for. Prime Minister Takeshi from Japan looked thoughtful. This council expects us to behave like children asking parents for permission. Exactly, Sarah said. And when children misbehave, parents punish them or put them under supervision. President Martinez rubbed his forehead. What do you recommend, Dr. Chen? Sarah had been thinking about this since the message ended. She remembered her grandfather's stories about standing up to bullies. She thought about every time in history when someone demanded surrender and people refused. I recommend we decline their offer. The screens went quiet. Then Prime Minister Petrov started laughing. I like this woman. They think we are dangerous and unpredictable. Let us show them how right they are. One by one, other leaders began to smile. The fear was still there, but something else was growing stronger. It was the same feeling humans got when someone told them they could not do something. All in favor of telling these aliens to stick their protection somewhere unpleasant? President Martinez asked. Every hand went up. Dr. Chen spent the next hour working on Earth's response. She kept it simple. She opened with footage of humans laughing at the alien message. The compilation showed people from every country and culture pointing at screens and laughing until tears ran down their faces. Then came the message itself. Sarah appeared on screen wearing her dress uniform. Dear Galactic Council, she began, thank you for your generous offer of protection. After careful consideration by all Earth governments, we have decided to politely decline. We prefer to remain independent and unpredictable, We hope this does not hurt your feelings. Sincerely, the humans of Earth. She paused and smiled. If you would like to visit Earth as tourists, you are welcome anytime. We have excellent food and entertainment. Just call ahead. The response was broadcast into space using every radio telescope and communication satellite on Earth. Then Sarah sat back and waited. Around the world, news networks played the alien message over and over. Instead of panic, something unexpected happened. People began making jokes. Social media filled with memes showing the alien's face with funny captions. Someone made a remix of the ultimatum set to dance music. Late that night, Sarah was still in her office when her assistant knocked on the door. Dr. Chen, you should see this. Her assistant showed her a tablet displaying social media feeds from around the world. Alien ultimatum was trending globally. People were posting videos of themselves laughing at the message. Someone had created a dating profile for Ambassador HFY. A restaurant in Tokyo was serving Galactic Council rejection soup. Sarah smiled. This was humanity at its finest. When faced with something scary and unknown, they made jokes about it. When someone tried to intimidate them, they laughed. She looked out her window at the night sky. Somewhere up there, an alien government was probably waiting for Earth's terrified surrender. Instead, they were going to get the most human response possible. They were going to get laughter. 3 days after Earth's response, Ambassador HFY was having the worst week of his long diplomatic career. He stood in the central chamber of the Galactic Council station, watching the human transmission for the 20th time. The chamber was massive, with floating platforms arranged in a perfect circle. Representatives from 12 different species sat on these platforms, all staring at the screen showing humans laughing. Explain this, demanded Councillor Vexithara, the spider-like representative from the Arachnid Collective. Her 8 eyes focused on HFY with obvious displeasure. Why are they making noise patterns at our ultimatum? HFY's 4 eyes blinked nervously. The translation systems indicate the sounds represent amusement, Councillor. They appear to find our message funny. A low rumble came from Councillor Grextor, the rock-based being from the Silicon Brotherhood. Impossible. No species finds ultimatums amusing. Check your translation matrix. I have checked it 17 times, Councillor. The translation is correct. They are laughing at us. High Councillor Irilvan, leader of the Council and eldest of the Energy Collective, dimmed slightly. When energy beings showed emotion, they changed brightness. Dimming usually meant confusion or anger. Ambassador HFY, Irilvan's voice echoed in the chamber. Present your complete analysis of this human species. HFY activated his floating datapad. The information appeared as holograms in the center of the chamber. Species designation human. Origin 3rd planet of System Sol. Classification carbon-based bipedal mammals. The hologram showed images of Earth taken by long-range scouts. Cities, roads, vehicles, and humans going about their daily lives. Technology level, primitive to moderate. They have achieved basic spaceflight and primitive faster-than-light capability. Military assessment, standard aggressor species with tendency toward territorial conflicts. Councillor Vexithara clicked her mandibles. Aggressor species often submit when faced with superior force. Why are these humans different? HFY scrolled through more data. Our initial assessment may have been incomplete. Further observation reveals several unusual characteristics. The hologram changed to show human recreational activities. Humans jumping from great heights with fabric wings. Humans racing vehicles at dangerous speeds. Humans climbing frozen waterfalls for no apparent reason. They appear to engage in deliberately dangerous activities for entertainment, HFY reported. They call it extreme sports. Grexter's rocky surface shifted, which indicated confusion. They risk death for amusement. This makes no logical sense. There is more, HFY continued. The hologram now showed human military history. When faced with superior enemies, humans demonstrate a pattern of increasing resistance rather than submission. Multiple examples exist of small human forces defeating larger ones through unpredictable tactics. High Councillor Irilvan brightened slightly. Show me their response to previous ultimatums. HFY looked uncomfortable. Councillor, this was their first contact with galactic civilization. However, their history shows consistent rejection of demands for surrender, even when facing certain defeat. The chamber fell silent. For 3,000 years, the Galactic Council had maintained peace through superior force and bureaucratic control. Species either submitted immediately or were conquered quickly. No one had ever laughed at them. What do you recommend, Ambassador? Hurlvan asked. Standard Enforcement Protocol, High Counselor. Deploy the compliance fleet. 500 ships from all member species. No primitive world has ever resisted such force. Counselor Nixara of the Aquatic Federation raised a tentacle. Ambassador, what if they continue to resist? What if they keep... Laughing? Zexhi's confidence returned. Impossible, Counselor. When they see our fleet, they will understand their position. Fear will overcome their amusement. But even as he spoke, Zexhi felt doubt creeping into his mind. He had watched the human response dozens of times. He had seen something in their faces that he did not recognize. It was not just amusement. It was something else. It looked almost like anticipation. 3 hours later, the compliance fleet began assembling at the edge of Council space. 500 ships represented the largest enforcement action in Council history. Surely no primitive species would continue resisting such overwhelming power. Meanwhile, on Earth, Dr. Sarah Chen was in the Situation Room with military leaders from around the world. Satellites had detected the alien fleet gathering in space beyond Pluto's orbit. How many ships? Asked Admiral Jackson from the American fleet. Our best count is 500, sir. Multiple configurations, some as large as our biggest carriers. General Volkov from Russia studied the data. Dr. Chen, our entire combined fleet is maybe 50 ships. Most are exploration vessels, not warships. Sarah nodded. Conventional wisdom says we should surrender now. But? Prompted Admiral Nakamura from Japan. Sarah smiled. But conventional wisdom is exactly what they expect. They have probably conquered dozens of worlds using the same pattern. Show up with overwhelming force, demand surrender, occupy the planet. What are you suggesting? Asked General Martinez. I am suggesting we do what humans do best. Something completely unexpected. She activated a display showing Earth's industrial capacity. We have 17 orbital shipyards, 43 asteroid mining operations, and the most flexible manufacturing base in known space. Plus something they do not have, which is 7 billion humans who are really annoyed at being told what to do. While the aliens assembled their perfect formation of ships, Earth's shipyards worked around the clock. But they were not building traditional warships. They were building something that had never existed before. Warships designed by humans who had been told they could not win. The first ship rolled out of Luna Shipyard 12 days later. It looked nothing like a proper warship. It was asymmetrical, painted in bright colors and equipped with systems that made no tactical sense. Captain Maria Santos looked at her new command and grinned. They want to see dangerous and unpredictable? Let us show them dangerous and unpredictable. 24 hours later, the alien fleet crossed into the solar system. They expected to find a primitive world preparing for surrender. Instead, they found humans getting ready for the most human response possible to an impossible situation. They found humans preparing to improvise. The Galactic Council fleet entered Earth's solar system in perfect formation, 500 ships arranged in a precise geometric pattern that had been perfected over centuries of enforcement actions. Admiral Kexthor of the Valorian Empire stood on the bridge of the flagship, watching the primitive world grow larger on his screens. Standard orbital positions, he commanded. Maintain formation discipline. These humans will surrender when they see our power. But as the fleet approached Earth, something was wrong. Admiral Kexthor's tactical officer, Lieutenant Vexpi, looked confused as she studied her instruments. Admiral, I am detecting multiple vessels departing Earth orbit. Configuration unknown. How many vessels, Lieutenant? Difficult to determine, sir. They are not maintaining formation. They appear to be scattered. Admiral Kexthor frowned. In 300 years of military service, he had never encountered an enemy that scattered their forces before battle. It made no tactical sense. Display the human vessels on main screen. What appeared on the screen made several bridge officers gasp. The human ships looked nothing like proper military vessels. They were different sizes, different shapes, and painted in colors that hurt to look at. Some appeared to be modified cargo ships. Others looked like they had been built from spare parts. Are those decorations on their hulls? Asked Lieutenant Vexpi. Indeed, many of the human ships had images painted on their sides. Skulls, flames, cartoon characters, and symbols that meant nothing to the aliens but everything to the humans flying the ships. Captain Maria Santos sat in the command chair of her ship. the unexpected visitor. Around her, a crew of 40 humans prepared for the most important battle in human history, but instead of grim determination, the bridge was filled with nervous laughter and bad jokes. "Captain," called out her communications officer, "we are receiving a transmission from the lead alien ship. Put it on screen." "Tommy!" The face of Admiral Kexthor appeared on the main display. His purple skin looked darker than usual and his four eyes focused on Maria with obvious displeasure. "Human vessel, you are in violation of Galactic Council orders. Return to your planet immediately and prepare for surrender proceedings." Maria stood up and walked closer to the screen. She was a small woman with graying hair and laugh lines around her eyes. She had been a cargo ship captain for 20 years before volunteering for this mission. "Hello there," she said cheerfully. "I am Captain Santos. Nice ships you have there. Very neat." Admiral Kexthor blinked all four eyes. "Captain Santos, this is not a social interaction. You will comply with council directives immediately." "Well, here is the thing," Maria replied, scratching her chin. "We talked it over and we decided we would rather not. But thank you for asking so politely." Behind Maria, her crew began snickering. Someone made kissing sounds at the alien admiral. "Human, you are facing 500 ships of the Galactic Council fleet. Your resistance is futile." Maria looked around at her crew, then back at the screen. 500? Wow, that is a lot. We only brought about 200 ships. But you know what they say about quality over quantity. This was a complete lie. Earth had managed to put together exactly 73 ships, most of them barely qualified as warships. But Maria Santos had been bluffing her way out of trouble since she was 12 years old. "Prepare to be boarded for surrender processing," Admiral Kexthor announced. "Oh, I do not think so," Maria replied. "Tommy, open a channel to all ships." "Channel open, Captain." Maria's voice went out to every human ship in the system, and through them, to every human on Earth. "All ships, this is Santos. They want to take our surrender. What do you think about that?" The response came back as a roar of laughter and defiance from 73 ships. Captain Rodriguez on the Cosmic Joke replied first, "I think they can kiss my exhaust trail." Similar responses came from every ship. The aliens listened in growing confusion as humans responded to overwhelming odds with jokes, insults, and what sounded like party planning. "Understood," Maria announced. "All ships execute Plan Chaos." Plan Chaos was not really a plan at all. It was the absence of a plan. Every human captain had been given the same instructions. Do whatever seems like a good idea at the time. What happened next had never occurred in the history of galactic warfare. The human ships scattered in all directions with no apparent pattern. Some accelerated directly toward the alien fleet. Others spun in circles. A few seemed to be racing each other around asteroids. Captain Liu on the Definitely Not Suspicious began broadcasting Earth music at full volume while performing barrel rolls around a Valorian heavy cruiser. Captain Okafor on the Hold My Beer launched all his escape pods at once, creating a cloud of debris that confused alien sensors. But it was Captain Santos who performed the most human action of all. She aimed her ship directly at Admiral Kexthor's flagship and accelerated to ramming speed. "Human vessel, alter course immediately," Admiral Kexthor commanded. Maria appeared on his screen again, but now she was smiling even wider. "Sorry, Admiral. Looks like we are going to have to crash this party." Behind her, the bridge crew was cheering and laughing. Someone was playing guitar music. Another crew member was eating what appeared to be a sandwich while preparing weapons. "You will destroy your own ship," Kexthor protested. "Probably," Maria agreed. "But you know what? That is okay. Because this is being broadcast live to Earth, and everyone back home is going to see what happens when you mess with humans." She was right. Every human ship was streaming live video back to Earth. Billions of people watched as Captain Maria Santos aimed her small cargo ship at the massive alien flagship. "This is Santos to Earth Control," she announced. "Tell my ex-husband he still owes me money. Tell my kids I love them. And tell everyone to remember this when they tell stories about today." Admiral Kexthor tried to change course, but his massive ship was too slow. He watched in horror as the small human vessel approached at impossible speed. At the last second, Maria's ship suddenly changed direction. She had not intended to ram the flagship after all. Instead, she flew directly underneath it, so close that her ship's hull scraped against the alien vessel's armor. As she passed beneath the flagship, Maria ejected her entire cargo hold. Thousands of metallic spheres scattered in all directions, each one containing a simple message recorded by schoolchildren on Earth. Humans were here. The spheres bounced off alien ships throughout the fleet. Most did no damage, but they created chaos as alien crews tried to figure out if they were weapons. "This is Santos," Maria announced to the fleet. "Welcome to human space. We hope you enjoy your stay, but checkout time is now." Around the fleet, other human ships began their own impossible maneuvers. The aliens watched in growing panic as their perfect formation dissolved into confusion. For the first time in galactic history, an enforcement fleet was being defeated not by superior firepower, but by sheer human audacity. And somewhere in the chaos, the sound of human laughter echoed across the void. Dr. James Park floated in his laboratory aboard the Earth Defense Station, watching the battle unfold through reinforced windows. As Earth's leading xenobiologist, he had spent years studying alien life forms from probe data. Now he was seeing them in action, and he was learning something extraordinary. "Computer, replay the communication from the Valorian flagship, segment 4 through 7. On his screen, Admiral Kexthor appeared again, speaking to his bridge crew. James had been studying alien body language for the past 6 hours, and patterns were emerging. "Computer, cross-reference stress indicators across all alien communications." Data flowed across his display. Heart rate equivalents, voice pattern changes, movement patterns. The results made James smile. His communication device buzzed. "Dr. Park, this is Admiral Chen. What have you learned?" Admiral Sarah Chen had been promoted after successfully coordinating Earth's defense. Her predecessor had been killed when his ship rammed an alien cruiser while broadcasting cooking recipes. "Admiral, I have discovered something important about our enemies. They are terrified." "Terrified? They outnumber us 7-1. "That is exactly why they are terrified, Admiral. Watch this." James sent her a compilation of alien communications. In each clip, alien officers looked increasingly panicked as human ships performed impossible maneuvers. "Notice how they keep asking for instructions from higher command," James pointed out. "They cannot adapt to unexpected situations." When Captain Martinez started broadcasting his grandmother's birthday party while firing missiles, 3 alien ships actually stopped fighting to analyze the transmission. "You think they have never faced an unpredictable enemy? I think they have never faced any real enemy at all. Look at their formation patterns, Admiral. Perfect geometric shapes. Their battle plans assume everyone follows the same rules." James pulled up more data. Every alien species in their fleet evolved on worlds where cooperation meant survival. Look at the Valorians. They are herd animals. The arachnids live in structured colonies. The Silicon Brotherhood are literally hive minds. And humans? Humans evolved to survive by being individually creative and collectively chaotic. We are the only species in the galaxy that thinks rules are suggestions. As if to prove his point, Captain Torres on the definitely not a warship appeared on the communication channel. She was upside down in her command chair, steering her ship while doing a handstand. "Admiral Chen, we just convinced 3 alien ships to surrender by challenging them to a dance-off. They got so confused they shut down their weapons." Admiral Chen rubbed her forehead. "Captain Torres, you are aware this is supposed to be a battle?" "Yes, ma'am, but it is also supposed to be fun. My crew voted, and we decided if we are going to die fighting aliens, we might as well enjoy ourselves." This was the moment James realized humanity's true advantage. While alien crews followed orders and maintained discipline, human crews were treating the battle like a combination of war and entertainment. "Computer, open channel to all human vessels," James announced. "Dr. Park, what are you doing?" Admiral Chen asked. "Something that should be impossible, Admiral. I am going to conduct psychological warfare." James appeared on screens throughout the human fleet. "All ships, this is Dr. Park. I need you to show our alien friends some videos from home." "What kind of videos, Doc?" "Called Captain Williams from the probably illegal. Anything that shows humans being human. Sports, entertainment, daily life. But especially show them the dangerous stuff we do for fun." Within minutes, human ships began broadcasting Earth's greatest hits to the alien fleet. Football games where humans crashed into each other at high speed. Skateboarding videos showing teenagers jumping off buildings. Rock climbing footage of people scaling cliffs without safety equipment. The reaction was immediate. Alien communication channels filled with confused chatter. "These creatures risk death for entertainment?" transmitted one Valorian officer. "The young ones appear to deliberately seek injury," replied another. But the video that caused the most panic was a simple recording from a human elementary school. Children playing on a playground, laughing and screaming with joy as they swung from high bars and climbed dangerous structures. Their offspring participate in combat training? Transmitted a terrified arachnid commander. Negative, came the reply from their tactical officer. Intelligence suggests this is recreational activity. James watched the alien communications with growing satisfaction. Fear was spreading through their fleet faster than any weapon. Admiral, he reported, I am reading massive stress indicators across their entire force. Several ships are requesting permission to withdraw. Keep broadcasting, Admiral Chen ordered. The next video was even more effective. Someone had sent footage of the running of the bulls in Spain, followed by a compilation of humans performing extreme sports in exotic locations. Captain Santos, whose ship had somehow survived 3 different ramming attempts, added her own contribution to the psychological warfare. Attention alien fleet, she announced cheerfully. We have prepared a special presentation about human mating rituals. Captain Santos, no. Admiral Chen interrupted. Too late, Admiral. They need to see our wedding videos, especially the ones where Uncle Frank gets drunk and starts fighting people. The wedding footage apparently broke something in the alien command structure. Admiral Kexthor's voice crackled over the communication channels, speaking to someone off-screen. Request immediate reinforcements. The humans are not following any known patterns of civilized behavior. They appear to be insane. All human ships, James announced. The aliens think we are crazy. I suggest we prove them right. What followed could not be called a battle in any traditional sense. It was more like a galaxy-wide introduction to human culture, conducted at weapons range. Ships performed synchronized swimming maneuvers while firing missiles. Crews held karaoke contests during combat. Someone started a food fight that somehow spilled into space. And through it all, the sound of human laughter echoed across the void, driving their enemies to the edge of panic. The aliens had come expecting to fight a war. Instead, they found themselves trapped in the most human experience possible, organized chaos with a soundtrack. 6 months after the first battle, the galaxy was a very different place. Ambassador Zexhai stood in what used to be the Galactic Council chambers, watching humans installing something. They called a coffee machine in the corner where the High Counselor's platform once floated. Ambassador Chen, he said to the human woman arranging chairs in a circle instead of the traditional hierarchical platforms. I still do not understand how this happened. Sarah Chen, now representing Earth in the newly formed galactic community, looked up from her work. She was wearing casual clothes instead of a military uniform, and she was smiling. What part confuses you most, Zexhai? All of it. Your species defeated our fleet without destroying a single ship. You convinced 17 different worlds to rebel against Council authority. You dissolved a government that had existed for 3,000 years, and you did it by laughing. Sarah sat down in one of the newly arranged chairs and gestured for Zexhai to join her. Do you want to know the secret? Please, we did not try to beat you. We just tried to be ourselves. Across the galaxy, the changes were remarkable. On the Valorian homeworld, young Valorians were learning to play human games like soccer and basketball. The concept of competition for fun was revolutionary to a species that had only known cooperation or conquest. The arachnids had started something called improv comedy, which was particularly hilarious because spider-like beings trying to be spontaneous looked extremely awkward but was surprisingly entertaining. Even the Silicon Brotherhood had been affected. Their hive mind had fractured into thousands of individual voices, all arguing about their favorite human music. But the most dramatic change was happening in space itself. Where the Council had maintained strict shipping lanes and regulated travel, humans had introduced something called space tourism. Alien families were taking vacation trips to Earth to experience what marketing materials called controlled chaos. Earth had become the most popular destination in the galaxy, not because of its military might, but because it was the only place where aliens could experience what they had never known they were missing. Fun. Captain Maria Santos, now running a tour service called Santos Spaceways, was giving a group of Valorian tourists their first lesson in human recreational activities. Now remember, she told them as their ship approached Earth, when we land, you will see humans doing dangerous things for entertainment. This is normal. Do not call for medical assistance unless someone is actually bleeding. One of the Valorians raised a tentacle nervously. Captain Santos, are you certain it is safe to visit your world? Oh, absolutely not, Maria replied cheerfully. That is what makes it fun. The real breakthrough had come when Dr. James Park published his research on galactic psychology. His paper, titled Why Laughter is the Most Powerful Force in the Universe, had been translated into 400 languages and become required reading in schools across dozens of worlds. The council failed. Park had written, because they tried to eliminate uncertainty from the galaxy. They created a perfect system with no room for surprise, creativity, or joy. Humans succeeded because we brought back the one thing every species secretly missed, the possibility that tomorrow might be completely different from today. Back in the former council chambers, now called the Community Center, representatives from 37 different worlds were arriving for the weekly meeting. Unlike the old council sessions, these meetings had no formal agenda and no predetermined hierarchy. Representative Thexri from the Aquatic Federation swam up to Sarah in his mobile water tank. Ambassador Chen, my people have a request. What can we do for you, Thexri? We would like to host what you call a music festival on our homeworld. Underwater music for all species, Sarah grinned. That sounds amazing. Let me introduce you to a human musician named Marcus. He has been experimenting with underwater instruments. As more representatives arrived, the chamber filled with the kind of noise that would have horrified the old council. Laughter, arguments, music, and the general chaos of different species trying to communicate and cooperate. High Counselor Irilvan, the former leader of the council, had adapted to the changes better than most. As an energy being, he had discovered that human emotions actually fed him energy. He had become brighter and more active in the 6 months since the community formed than he had been in the previous century. Irilvan, Sarah called out, we saved you a spot in the front row for today's presentation. What is today's topic, Ambassador? Captain Torres is going to teach everyone how to play a human game called charades. Irilvan dimmed slightly, which now indicated amusement rather than confusion. Will this involve more incomprehensible human gestures? Absolutely, excellent. I have been practicing. The meeting began the same way every community gathering started, with a moment of silence for those who had been lost during the transition. Not many had died in the fighting, but change always carried a cost. Then Sarah stood up and addressed the group. Friends, let us begin today the same way we always do, by remembering why we are here. Because humans are crazy, called out Representative Grextor, which had become a running joke. Because crazy is more fun than boring. The room responded in unison. It had become their motto, translated into dozens of languages but always ending with the sound of laughter. The old Galactic Council had maintained peace through fear and control. The new galactic community maintained peace through something much more powerful, the shared understanding that life was too short to take seriously all the time. As the meeting continued, with representatives teaching each other games and sharing stories from their homeworlds, Sarah looked around the room and smiled. Humanity had not conquered the galaxy through superior technology or military might. They had done something far more revolutionary. They had taught the galaxy how to laugh at itself. And in the end, that had been the most powerful weapon of all. Outside the chamber windows, ships from dozens of worlds came and went in patterns that would have given the old council administrators nightmares. There were no regulated flight paths, no proper formation discipline, no bureaucratic oversight. There was just the beautiful chaos of different species learning to fly together, making up the rules as they went along. It was the most human thing the galaxy had ever seen. And everywhere, the sound of laughter echoed among the stars,